Hi, my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we have Jerry Cox joining us. He is president of Family Council. He's here to talk about the monumental case that just came down from the Supreme Court regarding Roe versus Wade. Hi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, Jenny, it's my pleasure to be on the program with you. And what a historic day. Many of us,
Absolutely.
we never thought we'd live to see this day, but I was just listening to the words Roe versus Wade overturned. And I thought, what amazing words. And but it's true. And this bodes well for the sanctity of life in places like Arkansas and other parts around the country that hold human life in a high regard. In fact, the good news here in Arkansas is that we have a law that was passed in 2019 that says that if Roe v. Wade is overturned, then abortion in Arkansas is illegal except to save the life of the mother. So, in fact, I'll be going down to the Attorney General's office, watching her sign a statement that is required by this good law to certify that Roe v. Wade has been overturned and that abortion in Arkansas is hereby illegal except to save the life of the mother. So it's happening, and it's good news.
Did you ever think you have been doing this work for decades, tirelessly? Did you ever think that in your lifetime you would hear these words?
Probably not. I thought we may see Roe dial back some and states have more ability to regulate abortion. But I really, until maybe 6 months ago, never thought it was much of a real possibility that not only Roe v. Wade, but Planned Parenthood v. Casey would both be done away with. And, a lot of people may think, well, that makes abortion illegal everywhere. I mean, makes it outlaws it everywhere. And that's not true. It simply leaves it up to the states. And so in that regard, Jenny, this is a victory for democracy because for almost 50 years, abortion policy has been in the hands of unelected judges. And finally, some of those unelected judges said, this is not right. This is wrongly decided. We can't settle this. We're going to let the states work on it. You guys figure it out at the state capitol, pass the laws that you want to pass, and let's move forward. And that's where we are. It's amazing to me how much the left is just crying from the rooftops, how egregious this ruling is. And I'm like, guys, it just lets people vote and make their decision. What's wrong with that? But we know what's wrong with that because they love abortion and they want to keep it legal and force it upon everybody. So this is great news.
Talk to us about those pieces of legislation that was passed in the Arkansas legislature. You mentioned 2019, and then I believe there was another bill that passed in 2021. So what will that look like here in Arkansas now that Roe versus Wade was overturned?
Well, it's important to point out that the Arkansas legislature has passed over 40 pro-life laws in the last 10 years. All of those laws are enforceable now. Most of them were already being enforced, but the ones that have been enjoined by the courts are now enforceable. Now, what that means is that we have at least 3 laws that govern. Number one is Amendment 68 to the Arkansas Constitution, passed in 1988. It says that the state of Arkansas will protect the life of every unborn child as much as the federal Constitution will allow. Well, it just allowed it now with the reversal of Roe. The second law is what we call the trigger law, which is the one that will be enforced first, it appears. And that one just says if Roe is reversed, then abortion is illegal except to save the life of the mother. The third law is one passed in 2021 that says that abortion is just flat out illegal in Arkansas. Now, that law has been enjoined, but it too can be enforced. And then there's also an argument that Arkansas has some old law on the books from the pre-Roe era that might be enforceable as well. And so it's like we got one punch, another punch, another punch. But I think Arkansas is on really solid ground when it comes to our laws.
Do you anticipate any on the other side of the aisle, the ACLU, anyone now challenging these laws?
Oh, I think they'll go to court. I think they'll try to make some arguments that Arkansas law is unclear. They might even try to make the argument that these laws were passed before the Dobbs ruling, therefore shouldn't be allowed to be enforced. They can make all kinds of arguments, but I think they're in a deep, deep hole trying to dig out of that. And who knows how much they'll try. I think you may see some of the folks kind of nibble around the edges of this. For example, I think maybe some people may come along and say, well, we've got to have an exception for rape and incest in the law. And, we've said many times that a child should not be punished for the crimes of the father. Rape is awful. Incest is terrible. These people need to be punished. The woman needs a lot of compassion. But how the child got conceived should not be a death sentence. And so, as hard as that situation is, abortion really doesn't erase the trauma of rape or incest. Yeah. It just adds more trauma onto that. And so that's an argument I think that will probably be made at the Capitol eventually. The governor has said he believes there ought to be an exception. We respectfully disagree. So there will be discussions about the abortion issue going forward. But hey, for now, this is a great victory.
Absolutely. And before I let you go, thank you so much for taking time today on this historic day. But before I let you go, what does this look like now moving forward? We have so many amazing resource centers here, pregnancy centers. How can people get involved and step up and help in more ways now than ever before?
Well, you make an excellent point. Now that we have made abortion mostly illegal, what we need to do now is make it irrelevant. We need to make it irrelevant. And we do that through the pregnancy help organizations around the state that are there to be a safety net for women who have an unplanned pregnancy to say, you know what? You don't need to feel like you're backed into a corner with no choice. Yeah. We're going to help you. We will help you put your baby up for adoption. If you want to keep the baby, we will help you with job training and job placement and parenting skills and all these other things. And so this is an opportunity for our state government to step up. They've already done some appropriations for pregnancy centers. They need to do more. Churches can step up, nonprofits can step up. And there are people out there who probably need to be the ones starting one of these pregnancy help organizations and just go for it and say, we're not going to let anybody fall through the cracks. And so there are these organizations in almost every community, like 50 of them around the state, so every area. And I think if you seek those out, you'll find that they need your financial support, your volunteer support, and certainly your prayer support and other things. So this is a great opportunity for the church to step up and do good deeds. And I think we will.
Thank you so much for joining us. And again, what an incredible day. And thank you for all the work that you and your team do at Family Council.
Well, thank you for the work that you guys do. And it's always a pleasure to be on with you.